Hello and welcome. Today we will make a social distancing dress. I have nothing better to do than to recreate, with my own sketchy methods, an 18th century Mantua dress for a beautiful summer day. Let's start this, shall we? For this project you will need a lot more than the 10 meters fabric that I bought. Don't at me, sewing is not an exact science and there is no way that you can know or calculate how much fabric you will need. Or, if you like to live dangerously, 10 meters will be just fine. Fabric for lining, the stays we made a few videos back, an oblong hoop skirt you made yourself. Do not worry, there will be a video on this because how could I not film the thing that caused this aberration to happen? 350,000 pins, a sewing machine, or your hands if you're feeling sassy, some buttons, bias tape, boning and boning channels, trims of your choice, and that is it. Yes, since the problem with trousers started, I have been very afraid to get out of the house, but Germany is loosening up the lockdown a little bit, so we decided to enjoy a nice day outside with sushi. The pattern I am using for inspiration this dress from Janet Arnold's book Patterns of Fashion 1 that I tried to buy twice and I got scammed by the store both times. I got the money back because I paid with PayPal, but I never saw the books. And funny thing is that I'm still getting order updates somehow. So I will have to improvise with the little to no knowledge that I have. Using the bodice sloper, stretch the waistline dart to the high figure point and mark where your neckline will be on a straight square line from the center front. On that center part, just extend the bottom part to make this round waistline detail. Cut a princess seam to the shoulder dart. On that center part, add 2 inches to the cross front for the buttoning and 1.5 inch to the other side so you can attach that to the other part of the panel later on. On the other side, close the side dart. I left it like that at first, but then I decided to close the armhole dart as well and stretch that neckline marking so I could remove the upper part of the armhole. On the back, shave that shoulder dart and mark how wide the front shoulder is. Mark the neckline from a squared line from the center back and attaching the shoulder seams, cut out the upper part of the armhole to form a strap that will rid you of that shoulder seam. We need now to extend the center back to the amount of pleats you want. I chose 3 pleats and I added a total of 18 inches extra, dividing the pleats as follows: 4 inches, 4 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. To remind me not to cut it like this, I just added an extra paper panel to the lower part of the pattern so I don't make mistakes while cutting. Now let's puzzle a little bit. There is a method to this madness, believe me. I know I am not going to ever be known for the historical accuracy of my garments, but I do believe I am able to achieve certain results no matter what. And most of the garments I make are just like me. Beautiful on the outside, from very far away, and a mess on the inside. I have also a basic sleeve sloper that we need to transform into this magical thing. For this, draw the sloper to the elbow length and find the middle of the front part. Take 1 inch in on a curve and continue that curve to the back part, being careful that your inner seam matches in the end. That will make your sleeve shorter in the front of your arm for when you place yourself beautifully on the corner of the room like the marble statue you were raised to be. Now we need to add pleats to the shoulder. I chose to add 4 to be closer to my inspo sketch, but it's your choice in the end. Draw straight lines from one side to the other and cut them from the shoulder to the bottom, but don't separate the pieces. Fan the pattern out, adding half-inch increments between the pieces. You can either eyeball this or measure them correctly. It doesn't really matter, but I wouldn't add too much not to deform the sleeve bottom. Glue all the pieces in place and cut the pattern with the pleats folded shut so you have the true shape you have to cut on the fabric. Yes, it looks very weird. The assembly! We have our pattern and that's the easy part. The assembly is something special. To say it doesn't make much sense is an euphemism. There is only so much we can do with a flat pattern and all the rest needs to be draped on a doll with the undergarments and structures, otherwise things get very complicated. I have my panier and petticoat ready to go and I cut 2 big panels of the fashion fabric to make the underskirt. I draped them to check if my measurements were correct. They weren't, and I sewed both pieces right sides facing, leaving the bottom open and a huge gap on the upper part. After realizing I cut it too small based on a previous version of the panier,
Piece of shit!
I sacrificed the back panel by cutting it in half.
Ow! Nice.
Then, with the skirt wrong side out, I pinned and sewed the upper side edges by hand to make them fit the round sides of the panier snugly.
Stell dir vor, dass ich diese Sounds benutzen muss.
Welche Sounds?
No, we are not losing our minds. That happened a long time ago. This is just a normal day on Haus Stockmann. I sewed 2 channels to the waistline where I inserted 2 pieces of bias tape, one to be tied on the front and the other on the back.
This is a very sassy skirt. Look at that. My ass is outside. If I do have some fabric left, I will close it.
It's useless for me to tell you what happened, right? Now let's move to the Mantua part. To cut the back, take 2 pieces of fashion fabric with the width of the fabric by the length that you want. I wanted to make a long train, but I was not sure if I would have enough material, so I cancelled that idea like we seem to be cancelling everything this year. Cut the back piece on fold, however, the sides are not symmetrical. The fold of the fabric will serve as the true center back, and half of the width will be the extension you need for the pleats. This way you have enough fabric to pleat both the side and the back.
Good morning. My bangs didn't wake up yet.
Time to continue this mess.
I started working on the lining as well by cutting the back piece with a normal center back, closing the waistline dart and attaching the front panels to it right sides facing. Then I attached both pieces to each other on the neckline only, and I left the rest open not to interfere with the pleating later on. After some consideration, I decided to add an extra layer of muslin between the fashion fabric and the lining on these parts over here to give them more structure and to hold the shape, and also the weight of the whole bunch of fabric I was adding to the back because I was kinda scared that things might get distorted with time. I also finished the straps separately to give them a nice finish on the neckline by understitching the lining and leaving the armhole part raw because I would attach a sleeve anyways.
It's like a puzzle. I like it. But now, base stitching.
I did that on the front and back pieces so the muslin wouldn't move all over the place, and I closed the back waist dart temporarily with a leather stitch.
This is where my mind is starting to play tricks on me. I attached the front part to the lining already because I wanted a beautiful finish here. And now I have to attach the, it's not sleeves, the thingy. I have to attach this neck and it will match here. I will understitch this first. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. I don't know.
One eternity later.
It worked. This is a little bit edgy. I will put a trim here anyway, so it will be kind of hidden. It worked better than I expected. I temporarily attached the front to the back lining only so I can drape the back on the doll. But I sense a lot of changes coming. Let's see.
La 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 la.
So I need to join the center backs first. This is a lot of fabric. This is wrong. I need to attach it wrong sides facing so the part I will pleat is on the outside, not the inside.
So I marked all of the notches for the pleats on the extended center back, and I took my time putting them together with pins before dressing up my dress form.
This is extra fabric. Whoa. Can I cut the notches here? I forgot to cut the notches at the other side.
12 seconds later.
Hello, animal. Hi.
Hi.
Then the animal decided it was her time to get attention.
No, not the pins, not the pins, Lucy. No, no. Fine. Nein, nicht beißen. Don't bite it, it's not yours. You can lay on top of it, but don't bite it. Why? The audacity of this monster. Audacious monster you are. You're an audacious monster. Audacious danger you are. She bites me? Ah! 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 Give me the danger bites. Ah! Ah! No! She's so confused when I yell like that. Sushi, the danger bites.
And when I was finally done a few minutes later, Madame could not care less to stand up.
Can you excuse me, please? I need to stand up now. Shoo, go. Go up. Sushi up. Sushi up. Sushi up. Sushi up. Sushi up. Sushi up. Excuse me. I need it. Go. Sushi. Thank you. I'm getting warm now. So much action. Time to attach the back.
Here we cannot forget the seam allowance for the back neckline when pleating, so don't forget to consider that when pinning the fabric on the doll.
It's hard to see because my print is so small. I have 3 pleats here that will go down to make the long tail of the dress. It's called a train, I know. Cut all this extra here so I can finally see where my center back will go. I will leave a lot of seam allowance. I'm scared it might be wrong.
I am getting all of these extra bits and pieces so I can transform them into trims for the dress. I need to save every piece of fabric I can possibly save. Nothing is going in the trash this time. And it's not that I can throw scraps of fabric out anyways. I'm a scrap hoarder. I'll first secure all drapes I made, sewing them by hand so I can finish the upper part of the bodice. This will take forever. And while I do that and suffer with my earthquake hands, let's delve into the history of the Mantua dress, shall we? It came into fashion in the late 17th century and early 18th century in European courts. Historians are not sure where the name comes from, but it might refer to the Italian city of Mantova, where fabrics were once produced, or it might be an evolution of the French term manteau, which refers to nightgowns, and that is the explanation that makes more sense according to them. It is said that the main reason mantuas were so wide is to show off the fabric of which they were made, which is usually a kind of silk damasks known as bizarre silk. Now imagine you being one of those poor little bugs working your ass off literally to produce this beautiful fiber so that one can transform it into something that will be called bizarre later on. Appalling, to say the least. The mantua making was a woman's trade, like hat making, and was officially recognized in France as the first guild controlled by women. Look at us trying to emancipate so early on. Initially, they were considered too informal to be worn outside private spaces by Louis XIV. But by the end of the 17th century, the mantua became the formal dress worn in the courts of Europe and continued to be worn in England until 1820. Wealthy married women wore those exquisite works of art at court for formal gatherings such as royal birthdays and weddings. The elliptical side hoops came into fashion in the early 18th century, and everyone was trying to prove their hips were the widest, some reaching up to 2 meters wide. It was a skilled practice to wear a mantua, from putting it on to learning how to dance, walk, live in it, so to speak. Imagine going to the bathroom with something like that. After mantuas came out of fashion, the fabrics were then remodeled into different designs, like sackbacks or robe à la Francaise, the clothing style of the 18th century. Upcycling for the win. This is the perfect occasion to test this dress's capability of social distancing. Although it's only on the sides, I believe it is possible to cause a little trouble in modern day society, don't you think?
I figured it out, sort of. This is so odd. This is so odd. I have the feeling that people that came up with these designs, they were just like throwing the fabric on top, and the way it stayed forever. Pa! Here! Look at my amazing design. Now is the part I'm scared of. This is all fabric I have, and now I have to drape the rest of the front skirt. I'm so scared. I'll just cut it in half and roll with it. Wish me luck. Oh God. It's not gonna be enough.
No, the fabric was not enough, but there is a solution for everything. I decided to leave that to rest for now, to finish the side seam and the side pleats, so I can try it on. I think I can try it on now, to see if this part fits at least. I can put the back together, and then it's just the finishing touches. You know that feeling when a friend of yours or a family member has a newborn baby and then you go to visit them, then they say, "Do you want to hold my baby?" And you get that feeling inside your belly, "No, I don't. I'm starting to have a panic attack. Your child might fall to the ground and I might kill it by accident, and I might break everything because it's so squishy and so small and so delicate, and I'm not prepared to deal with this at all." That's how I was feeling with removing this part of the dress right now. I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to touch it. I was going to ruin it. If you are my friend and you ever have newborns, forget about the chance of me ever holding your baby in my arms. I will never touch your baby. Forget about it. I'm freaked out by babies. And this conversation escalated very quickly.
This is really where it should be. I will sew this on the machine for sturdiness.
Another eternity later. This is the front of the skirt now. I want that open in a V, and then I will add all the trims for more volume because it's very sad and colorless and blah. Now I need to pray for Frankenstein that I have enough fabric so I can close this huge triangle. Nothing about this project is historically accurate anyways. So how am I trying to fool? I will go bare ass. I need fabric for trims, and if I close those holes, I will not have any. I will add trim here. Ow! Seriously? Ow! I'll add trim to the front, the back, and the skirt here and everything, so it's a little bit more pretty, and there's a dog between my legs! Fluffy, was machst du? Was machst du? I know, I love you. Du bist so fnödelig. Du bist so fnödelig. Ow, I'm bleeding! Let's prepare some trims. I am very glad that I chose this specific print for this dress because the amount of times I got poked with pins and bled on this dress is way too high. At least the small flowers are hiding my bloodstains all around. Oh my god. Every single piece of extra fabric I had was turned into smaller strips of fabric that were then sewn together into a very long piece of fabric to make trims or ruffles. Ruffles? I don't know. I don't know if I have enough trims, but I have pink bias tape that I will add to this trim that I just sewed together to give it more color. Teeny, are you scared? Chili doesn't like my shenanigans. Ow! 4 times. I forgot to measure how many meters I had in the end, but I decided to pleat the trim instead of gathering the fabric. So I pleat every 2 centimeters, so I could transform that pleat into a pocket pleat once I transfer that to the final place. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does, but I will show you instead. Like that, see? You press in the middle and you sew both edges. I'm doing everything by hand. First, add all of the edge of the neckline on the curved part of the mantua until the back part up to the bottom. Then I will add the pink bias tape to it to bring more color. So I have these scraps of fabric and I need to turn them into trims. I will Frankenstein the shit out of those and see how much trim I can make. I also got these scraps of fabric from another project that's still a secret, very secretive secret, to pop more color into this. Because it was the same color as the leaves and the print, bringing harmony to the ensemble. Isn't that beautiful? I don't really care for the grain at this point. I just need as much fabric as I can get. Can I get one like this? This is not a cross grain, this is not a straight grain. This is not a grain. But I don't care! Yes, one can argue that my mental state was very delicate at this point. After sewing a lot of pieces together, I was able to achieve a satisfactory result. I finished the green trim and I pressed all of the 150,000 seams open. Now it's beautifully rolled and ready to go. The green trim was added to the front V part of the skirt and also to the underskirt horizontally, just as an eye catcher. Ow! Then I pinned the pink bias tape temporarily to the bodice and the front of the skirt just to see how it looks before I started working on the embellishments for the sleeve. I cut 3 flares in different sizes and shapes using the fashion fabric and the green fabric. Then I added a pink trim so it would stay beautiful. Then placed them on top of each other, sew them with a basic stitch, gather this fabric so it will fit on this part of the sleeve. I tried gathering by hand with a running stitch, but it was just too thick and the result was not good at all, so I went for the machine instead. Closed all of the sleeves pleats and also stitched that in place, then sew it to the sleeve, right sides facing. Then proceed to close the inner seam of the sleeve so we can finally attach it to the bodice. Oh, look at this pretty! Ooh,
such a beautiful sleeve. I've never wore such a frou-frou dress before. Not even as a child. I feel like a cupcake already, and I don't even have this on.
To attach it to the bodice, start by aligning the inner seam of the sleeve to the side seam of the bodice, right sides facing, and stitch them in place. As we don't have a shoulder seam, all you can do is pray that your calculations were correct and that everything will match. If not, check if your both sleeves have the same size, and if that's the case, you have just to adjust your shoulder straps on the back part only. I had to make a tiny adjustment on the left side. The right sleeve fit like a glove. Oh, the mysteries of lazy garment construction. When I got stuck to a pin again, I chose to fixate a pink bicep using a zigzag stitch. I started from the center back up to the bottom part of the left side of the skirt because I had a cerebral flatulence that I was not able to solve until now. And I am still wondering why I made that stupid decision.
I need to sew the other side, and I don't really want to start from the hem up because I know it will batch and then I will have extra right in the middle of the dress on the top, and this will look very weird. So I think I will lock the reverse stitch somehow with duct tape, and I will try to reverse stitch my way out of this. I don't know if it will work. I may even break my machine. Let's see. It doesn't work. Well, what did I want? If I were sewing on a straight stitch, it would work. It's a zigzag, so it's skipping a lot. Damn it! It won't work. Why don't my amazing hacks ever work? No idea. Jesus.
I stopped with the shenanigans and I sewed it like a normal person would do, and it worked in the end. My dress will have a fake stomacher with a button closure in the front, so I am sandwiching the fashion fabric, the lining, right sides facing, and the muslin, and sewing these parts here shut for a beautiful finish. Cut a few V-shaped pieces off of this curved seam allowance so the fabric behave well when turning right side out. I had these buttons you can cover with fabric of your choice, and since I'm very stingy, I didn't buy the tools to help you cover them with, so I have to do it by hand. It works, and the final result is sometimes wonky, but not very noticeable, so go ahead and mistreat your fingers. Here I also added trims for detail, added a few pieces of boning before attaching those pieces to the bodice by hand. So now it was time to add some trims to the underskirt. I was obligated to make a strategic decision to add trims only to the part of the underskirt that was showing on the V opening because I didn't have enough material to cover the whole front. So this time I can definitely confirm it was not laziness but pure lack of planning that caused this mishap. I pinned the trims whilst the skirt was still on the doll, and then I moved to the couch to sew them in place, as I find it pretty easy to pin things to the couch surface so I can pull the fabric without it moving around. It's a very large and handy pin cushion. Life hack! This was not planned to be a 2-day build, but it turned out to be this way. It was very late and I was very tired. And this was my day with a social distancing dress. I got plenty of weird looks.
They always say you have to dress for the job you want and not the one you have. I have no job. I want to be Queen of England.
Amazing comments, a lot of love, even people taking pictures with me from a very safe distance.
I have a wide shadow. Kind of enjoying this. Will stay like this forever. It's not that warm anymore. You're in my personal space. I'm a special snowflake. No one can get in. No one can invade my personal safe space now.
And plenty of questions if I was going to a wedding or if I was getting married. So I might have hit some Nordic weird tradition here that I'm not really aware of what it is and why. But I will do some research just to be sure. There was a lot of people asking me that. Other than that, I was amazed to see that people were respecting the social distancing etiquette in Germany. It was our first time going out of the house since the lockdown happened, and I was scared all of the time. Will I ever do this again? No. Will I ever wear this dress again? Maybe. After I get the sand out of the hem and after I fix the hoop skirt. Because of course, everything dismantled after I got out of the water because there was so much weight on the fabric that the poor hoop skirt did not survive. This hoop skirt is so fake, it was falling apart even before I entered the water. Doing the most simple things with this dress is complicated, to put it nicely. Sitting down, going to the bathroom, going the normal way, without causing traffic jams, and without melting is very complicated. This is definitely not your sundress of choice. But it was a cool project. A lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of blood lost on this fabric, and a very nice experience. I hope you enjoy this. If you like sewing shenanigans and crazy fashion projects, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye!
I shit you not, look at this! Not so close because I didn't shave my legs, but look at this!
Ay, ay, ay.
Ow! I'm so happy I decided not to go for that train. Ew! Ew! Ew!
Mouse.
I'm still not done.